Good afternoon, everyone. It feels so good to be here with all of you. Folks, we are in the middle of an election that will decide the future of our Commonwealth. We need to protect the progress we've made and continue the fight for all Virginians by re-electing me as your Attorney General, electing Hala Ayala as our next Lieutenant Governor, and Terry McAuliffe as our next governor. With continued Democratic leadership, we'll keep building a Commonwealth that protects our communities, families, and environment, and a Commonwealth that has your back. Over the last 8 years, I've won a landmark case for marriage equality that's now the law of the land. Blocked Trump's Muslim ban, protected voting rights, and went to the United States Supreme Court to successfully defend Obamacare not once, but twice. We've taken on the gun lobby and defended common sense gun safety measures. And I promise you, my priority will always be protecting your rights and keeping you safe. And alongside Terry McAuliffe and Ralph Northam, I have stood as a brick wall against Republican attacks on a woman's reproductive freedom. And have fought in court to defend a woman's access to comprehensive health care services, including abortion care and birth control. And in the next 4 years as Attorney General, I'll work alongside Terry and Hala to lead the nation in things like preventing gun violence, lowering health care costs, and holding Big Pharma accountable for rising prescription drug prices. Democrats have a strong record of fighting for, protecting, and lifting up all Virginians, and we're going to keep that fight going. But the Republican ticket is totally out of step with Virginia and promising if they're elected, they'll roll back all of the progress we've made. And just like Donald Trump said, they'll do all the things he wants them to do. My Republican opponent in the Attorney General's race, Jason Miyares, is an anti-choice, anti-LGBT, anti-health care, NRA-endorsed, Cuccinelli-style conservative. His biggest backer by far. His campaign has taken over $2 million from this group. It's a group that helped plan and bankroll the January 6th insurrection. We cannot let him anywhere near the Attorney General's office. So we've got a lot of work to do, and it is too important to stay on the sidelines. We've just got one more day to early vote, and it is time to make your voices heard. Let's keep Virginia on a path to a better future. Let's keep Virginia blue. And I know that with your hard work, your energy, and your enthusiasm, we will sweep all 3 statewide offices. We'll build on our majorities. Thank you all so much. On to victory on Tuesday.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your next Lieutenant Governor, Hala Ayala.
Hey, Norfolk, how are you? Come on, y'all got to do better than that. There's too many of you here. How are you? I'm so thrilled to be here with the Democratic ticket, Pharrell, and Vice President Kamala Harris. For those who don't know, my name is Hala Ayala, and I'm running to make history as your first woman lieutenant governor and the first woman of color to hold statewide office in this Commonwealth. Thank you. But let me jump right on in. Our Commonwealth is at a crossroads, and who we elect 4 days from now, just 4, will say everything about who we are and what we stand for. I don't have to tell you that everything is on the line November 2nd. We say it every year, Virginia, but it's true. It's true. This is the most important election of our lifetimes. Yes, ma'am. The entire nation is looking at us to show them where we are going next. So this November, it's incumbent upon us to lead our country in the direction of progress. That's right. Not once, but twice, Virginia, you have rejected Trump and his unhinged, anti-science, anti-choice rhetoric. That's right. And guess what? It's time for us to do it again. Our Commonwealth has come so far under our Democratic majority. Together, we have passed health care for over 500,000 Virginians. We delivered the Equal Rights Amendment. Delegate Sia Price carried the Voting Rights Act. We have made criminal justice reforms and marriage equality. And believe me when I say this, please believe me, we are just getting started, Virginia. As Lieutenant Governor, I'll preside over the Senate to advance and protect the gains of our Democratic majority. In order to protect the progresses we have made and keep Virginia moving forward, it is essential that we keep this seat blue. You know, this campaign has been a battle for the very fabric of our Commonwealth. We've seen Trumpian Republicans like my opponent weaponize our bodies, our history, our schools, and even a Pulitzer Prize-winning book. My opponent was even set to participate in a rally where they pledged allegiance to a flag that was present at the Capitol during the January 6th insurrection. Once again, the Republican ticket has shown us there's no line they're not willing to cross. But I have faith in Virginia. I have faith in my neighbors. I have faith in my community. And I have faith in the voters. You know, especially the voters I've met crisscrossing this state. And guess what I'm hearing? We ain't buying it. They are not buying what the Republicans are selling. They know they deserve better. And we've come too far to let extreme Republicans take us backwards. In order to protect access to the ballot box, we must vote. Say it with me. We must vote. To protect an individual's right to choose, we must vote. That's right. To protect our schools, we must vote. I know you're tired, and I know you've been working hard, but I need you with me in this fight. They say it takes a village, Virginia, and you are mine. My name is Hala Ayala. And Virginia, I hope to earn your vote and make history as your first ever woman of color lieutenant governor. So we have our marching orders. Let's get to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Governor Ralph Northam.
Hello, 757 Democrats. You all are looking good tonight. You ready to win on November the 2nd? It is good to be home. You know, everybody asks me always, where is the First Lady? Where is Miss Pam? Well, Miss Pam is right here, so please welcome her back to Norfolk, Virginia. All right. I've got a couple questions for you just before we get going here. I know you're excited tonight, but we already asked about winning on November the 2nd, which we're going to do. But are you ready to elect Terry McAuliffe as our 74th governor? Are you ready to elect Hala Ayala as our next lieutenant governor? And are you ready to re-elect Mark Herring as our attorney general? Are you ready to welcome Vice President Kamala Harris to Norfolk, Virginia? That's what I'm talking about. You know what? I am proud to be a Democrat, and when we elect Democrats, good things happen in Virginia. I want to talk just very briefly about our opponents, the Republican Party, the ones that I call the party of no. You know, they like to promote a lot of lies out there. As we say on the eastern shore of Virginia, they lie like a rug, and that's not good. They tried to tell us that the insurrection on January the 6th was a peaceful rally. Really? Peaceful? If it was so peaceful, my fellow Virginians, why did I have to send 200 state police and the National Guard to restore our democracy in Washington? There was nothing peaceful about that. They like to provoke anger. They like to provoke fear, but you know what? That's not what the Democratic Party is about. The Democratic Party is about helping everybody. The Democratic Party is about progress. The Democratic Party is about moving us forward. And you know something else they said? They said that Terry McAuliffe and I had run the economy in the ditch. I want to know what ditch they're talking about. You know, Terry McAuliffe and I, back in 2014, started the new Virginia economy. Hundreds of thousands of good-paying jobs coming into the Commonwealth of Virginia. We raised the minimum wage, and we're going up to $15 an hour. That's the right thing to do. We said yes. The Democrats said no. Our unemployment rate is at 3.8%. That's after COVID-19. The national average is 4.8. Virginia, my friends, is 1 whole point lower than the national average. So don't tell me anything about running our economy in the ditch. Our economy under Terry McAuliffe and Ralph Northam's leadership is stronger than ever, and we're going to keep it that way by re-electing Terry McAuliffe. We have made record investments in education, early childhood education. I thank Pam for all of her work, making sure that 3- and 4-year-olds have access to early childhood education. The G3 program, allowing Virginia students to go to community college without incurring any debt. Record investments in K through 12, raises for our teachers. We have invested in education, and that's why businesses want to come to the Commonwealth of Virginia. And we have made Virginia an inclusive state. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter the country you come from. It doesn't matter the religion you choose to practice or who you choose to love. We welcome people to the Commonwealth of Virginia. Our lights are on and our doors are open. And you know something else? I'm going to remind you this. We believe that women can make their own choices regarding reproductive health. There is no excuse that a group of legislators, most of whom are men, by the way, should be telling women what they should and shouldn't be doing with their body. We stop that as Democrats. We passed the Virginia Values Act to make sure that we ended discrimination against the LGBTQ community. Virginia's Democrats said yes, they said no. And something else that I want to test out my audience just a little bit here tonight and see how you all are feeling. But you know, we as a party this year legalized the recreational use of marijuana. Can I hear it? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's Friday night, isn't it? That's right. We've made it easier to vote. That's the foundation of our democracy. We want people to vote. The Republicans don't. We said yes, and they said no, and that's why we're going to win this election on November the 2nd. And just one last thing I want to remind you of is it's probably the proudest day of my life, and certainly the proudest day of your 73rd governor. After 402 years in Virginia, we ended the death penalty in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So we have come too far to go back. We have made too much progress, and I will end like I started. Are you ready to re-elect Terry McAuliffe as the 74th governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia? Are you ready to elect Hala Ayala as your lieutenant governor? Are you ready to re-elect Mark Herring as your attorney general? And are you ready to keep our House of Delegates blue? I love you, Virginia. It's great to be back in 757. God bless you. Let's get out and vote. Let's make this happen on November the 2nd. Thank you all so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former and future First Lady of Virginia, Dorothy McAuliffe.
Wow, what a crowd. This is fun. Great to see everyone tonight. It's so wonderful to be back in Hampton Roads as we crisscross the Commonwealth. And to see all of you here just really warms my heart, and thank you. Thank you for turning out tonight. That's nice to hear. I feel like I'm dragging a little bit, but no, we're excited. We're excited to run through the tape till Tuesday, and we appreciate you all give us fire in our engines, and we appreciate that so very much. I can't be more excited to share this night with my husband, Virginia's once and future governor of the Commonwealth, Terry McAuliffe. And with our two very, very special guests, Pharrell Williams and the Vice President Kamala Harris. I want to thank Pharrell for joining us here today and for all he has done to promote civic engagement, lift up Hampton Roads, and give back to his community. It is an honor to have him here with us today. And Vice President Harris is here again. She likes Virginia a lot. Thank you for your support of women in the workforce, Vice President, and for your tireless efforts to expand opportunities for pre-K and childcare across the country. Just like our current First Lady, Pam Northam. There is so much at stake in this election, and Virginians have a very clear choice. Are we going to vote for Terry to move our Commonwealth forward? or are we going to move back? Just as he did when he was governor, Terry wakes up every single day on the days he actually goes to sleep, thinking about how he can make life better for Virginians. And make no mistake, as your 72nd governor, Terry made so much progress for Virginia. He put $1 billion into education to help our students and our teachers. And we served 13 million more school meals to children in need so they could learn and thrive. And he was a brick wall and fought to keep all of Virginia's women's health clinics open, and he won. Now Terry is running to build on that progress, help us recover from COVID-19. We need his leadership and experience now more than ever to defeat this pandemic once and for all. But he can't do any of it without your help over the very few coming days. Let's see, what is this day? This is Friday, Saturday, the last day to early vote. Then we have Sunday, no early voting this Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's 4 days, friends, to get the vote out. And he can't do any of what he needs to achieve for Virginia without your help in getting out that vote. The race is tight, and it's coming down to one simple fact: who turns out to vote? Whether you are with your friends, you're out knocking doors, or on a phone bank, or just running errands, please tell everyone how easy it is to vote, and that we need you to go vote tomorrow. And if you don't vote tomorrow, vote Tuesday. We got that. Hundreds of thousands of Virginians have already voted in this election. They've already made their voices heard for good-paying jobs, for our kids to get a great education, and for Virginia's future. There is no excuse not to vote early for Terry and our Democratic ticket. We can move Virginia forward, we can protect the progress that we've made, and we need you to help get out the vote and make your voice heard. And with that, I am very proud to introduce my best friend, the world's best dad, my husband for 33 years, and Virginia's next governor, Terry McAuliffe.
Well, good evening, everybody. Are you ready to go? Let me first of all thank my beautiful bride. She and I just celebrated 33 years of marriage together. And can you imagine being married to me for 33 years? Give her a great round of applause for that alone. I want to thank our great members of Congress. Let's give it up for Elaine Luria and Bobby Scott. You are so lucky to have them. And the greatest sitting governor in the history of America we have in the House with us today, Ralph Northam. I want to thank and his beautiful bride. Let me be honest, folks. There are two women sitting there, the present First Lady and the former First Lady. No two women have done more to lift up children, pre-child education, feeding hungry children than these two women. I thank them for their great service. And how about our next Lieutenant Governor? Holla! And our next Attorney General, let's give it up for Mark. And for a Democratic House of Delegates. Can you imagine, with this team going, with all the action we have going on with the House of Delegates, let me promise everyone here tonight, this state is going to take off like a booster rocket. I'm going to feel bad for those other 49 states by the time we finish up in 4 years. And let's give a great shout out. I want to thank Pharrell, who was with us here tonight, who came out. Listen, he has done more to lift up small businesses. He has never forgot his native home here in Virginia. He has never forgotten the Hampton Roads. Every day he gets out of bed trying to lift people up, and I want to thank Pharrell for being here with us today. I also see a bunch of our members of the General Assembly. Let's give our whole General Assembly a great round of applause. And the two greatest mayors in America we have this year, your mayor, Kenny Alexander, and the mayor of Richmond, Virginia, LeVar Stoney. And the greatest sitting vice president in American history with us here today, Kamala Harris, is in the house. So as everybody has said, folks, we only have a few days to go. I cannot tell you how critical this election is. The stakes could not be any more clear. On one side, you think what we have over there, conspiracy theorists. We've got anti-vaxxers, and we got Donald Trump. They're all on one side. From the day he got into this race, Glenn Youngkin has run a campaign of hatred, division, and fear. He promotes fear of vaccines. He promotes fear of voting machines. He promotes fears of those that have different religions. And he even has fear of books. I mean, think about this. If you look at my closing arguments, it's about education, it's about health care, it's about job creation. What is his closing argument? Going after Toni Morrison's book, Beloved. I mean, think about that for a second, the shame that that brings on the Commonwealth of Virginia. And think about this. There are hundreds and hundreds of books that maybe people might have issues with that are in our school curriculum. Why is it that Glenn Youngkin went after the most famous African-American novelist in the history of the United States of America? She has won the Nobel Prize, she has gotten the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and she's won a Pulitzer, Toni Morrison. Why did he pick her out? Do you think that was a coincidence? So that's what you've got from day one. He got in the campaign on election integrity. It's all he talked about. He's now closing his campaign about banning books by black authors. That's been the campaign of Glenn Youngkin. On the other side, for all of us that are running, you have a broad coalition of Virginians who care about health care, making sure everyone gets affordable health care here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, improving education, growing the economy, making sure all of our roads work. And I just want to say this to everybody in Hampton Roads. 8 years ago, when I came in office with Ralph, your transportation system was a mess. We saved the Port of Virginia. It was bankrupt when we took office. Do not forget that. We did the 64 Road Project, 564, Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, Chesapeake Bay Bridge. Everything you wanted, we did for you over the course of the last 8 years. That's what democratic leadership is all about. And don't forget, we bought down those tolls and we ended the excessive toll and fines on your citizens here in Hampton Roads. If you remember that day I came down here, those 3 African-American women had $50,000 of bills. I took those bills on live television and I just ripped them up and said, we're not paying them here in Virginia. An Australian company will not come to Virginia and rip off our citizens. And they got the message, folks. But here's what we're going to do. I've got 20 comprehensive plans about how to take Virginia to the next level. 166 very serious plans of what I want to do. When you get a chance, review them. But let me tell you right now, we're going to create great jobs in every corner of the Commonwealth. I promise you this. We will get $15 an hour minimum wage by 2024. We will make child care more affordable here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We will get paid sick leave here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And we will get paid family medical leave here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And guess who's against all of those things? Glenn Youngkin. And we are going to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. We're going to fight hard to make sure everybody has access. Working, Ralph and I, we have a goal working together. We will be the first state in America where every one of its citizens gets access to quality, affordable health care. Folks, we know it. We know we can do this because we've done it before. When we came in office back in 2014, we inherited a gigantic deficit. Our economy was in total chaos, if you remember back then. We got to work. 200,000 new high-paying jobs. Personal income went up 14%. Unemployment dropped in every city and county when we had the governorship here in Virginia. We leaned in on clean energy to create those jobs of the 21st century. And Glenn Youngkin, he just said the other day on Wavy TV during the debate that he doesn't believe that humans contribute to climate change. He was asked in the debate if he would have signed Virginia's Clean Economy Act. You know what he said? He said no. Well, let me tell you, I just got in here. I drove down from Northern Virginia, and half the roads were closed today because of the flooding that's gone on from the rainstorm we had. You cannot come here and not see the damage. Right here in Hampton Roads, the sea level rise has gone up 14 inches since 1950. Think of that. This is serious. That's why I need you to get out and vote. I've worked very hard. We did record investments in education, infrastructure, and transportation. But make no mistake, we did this by working in a bipartisan way. We'll work with anybody if it's good for Virginia. We worked with reasonable Republicans, but Glenn Youngkin is not a reasonable Republican. And it's not just about banning books and election conspiracy theories. It's also about education. Glenn Youngkin wants to follow Donald Trump and Betsy DeVos's model. He has said time and time again that he will take money out of public schools and put them into private schools. Let me tell you this as governor, folks, not one penny will come out of our public schools and go to private schools. 3 independent studies have said that 43,000 teachers would be cut. Are you kidding me? We can't have that here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. But what bothers me the most about his education ideas is he has used it to divide Virginia. He has pitted parents against parents. He's got parents against teachers. And he's bringing his personal culture wars into our classrooms. Let me tell you this. I promise you, we will not let Glenn Youngkin use our young children, our students, as political pawns for his political campaign. So here's what we're going to do for you. Next 4 years, we are going to raise teacher pay above the national average for the first time in Virginia history. We will get every student in Virginia online immediately. We'll get pre-K to tens of thousands of children. And I'll tell you this, I am so sick of this campaign of what Glenn Youngkin has said. All he has done is run down our schools, he keeps running down our state, and he's run down our teachers. So I want every teacher to listen to me carefully. We love you. We appreciate what you have done, and you have been the heroes of COVID. Let's hear it for our teachers. And then on COVID, Glenn Youngkin has already brought in Trump's anti-science agenda. You know what he said? Day one, all masks come off, and no teachers required to be vaccinated in Virginia. Think about that. We have had 1,142 of our children in hospital beds who are dealing with COVID. Recently, 2 11-year-olds died here in Virginia from COVID. This is serious. And thank God we had a doctor in the governor's office to help us get through this COVID. So let me be clear, when I'm governor, I want every doctor, I want every nurse, I want every teacher, I want everybody to be vaccinated here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. He goes on right-wing radio shows and says, oh, if you don't want it, don't take it. Oh, there's good reasons not to take it. No, they're not good reasons. And then let's talk about the big issue of abortion. We all know what's happened and the seriousness of this. Women's lives will be put in danger. He wants to bring the Texas law here to Virginia. He got caught on tape saying he will ban abortions and defund Planned Parenthood. And then he says, oh, but we're not going to tell anybody about it because if they find out, they won't vote for me. Women of Virginia, listen to me carefully. If Glenn Youngkin is elected governor, abortions will no longer be available here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. For 50 years, the Supreme Court has protected Roe v. Wade. Now it is the Trump Supreme Court, 6-3. They are going to eliminate it. You saw what happened in Texas. You know what they're going to do in Mississippi. Glenn Youngkin, we do not want your anti-abortion rhetoric and laws here in Virginia. Ralph and I have brought a lot of companies. I remember I'm the one who recruited ADP to come here to Norfolk. Thousands of jobs. Governor Northam will agree. There's not one of these companies that would come to a state that bans abortions, and he said the other day he is against gay marriage. If you put walls up around your state, the companies, the 21st century, the Amazon, the Googles, the Facebook, the Microsofts, they're not coming to our state. And that's what Glenn Youngkin, he will put women's lives in danger, he will put doctors in jail, and he will destroy our economy. So folks, we got less than a week to go for you to bring this baby home for me. Are you ready? So our campaign has knocked on, to date, 1.5 million doors, including 150,000 last weekend, and this weekend, over 200,000 doors will be knocked on. So thank all of you for being out there and doing what you're doing. And we've just gone, about 900,000 people have already early voted. Now, I'm winning the early vote 60-40. So I need you to get everybody to go early vote by 5 o'clock tomorrow. If you haven't voted, I need you to get in those polls. Get those folks out there. We need you out there. We need you to do it. Because let me say finally, 40 states in this country are rolling back voting rights. They're taking them away from citizens. Here in Virginia, through the great work of the folks here, we've actually expanded voting rights. We had a 45-day early vote. We had Sunday voting for the first time in Virginia history. And this is personal to me, voting rights. As you know, as your governor, I leaned in on a 102-year-old racist Jim Crow law that if you commit a felony, you never get to vote again. I felt that was wrong. 40 states, it's automatic. And a lot of people said, oh, don't do it. It's too complicated, too complex. You'll get in trouble. They'll sue you, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get out of run for governor to worry about what other people said. So in April of 2016, with a swipe of my pen, I gave 173,000 Virginians back the right to vote. That is more than any governor in U.S. history and is the largest enfranchisement of voters in over 100 years. We understand this here in Virginia. You cannot let them take it away. And I don't want them to say after Election Day, oh, we gave them all this expanded voting and they didn't use it, therefore take it away. We can't have that happen, folks. I want Virginia to be the symbol of democracy. Those other 40 states, look what happened in Virginia in 2021. They are the model of democracy for the United States of America. So that was my best day, and I'm going to close with this. My darkest day was Charlottesville, when 1,000 neo-Nazis and white supremacists came into our state. They marched through Charlottesville. You could see the hatred in their faces. You could hear the hatred in their words. You could smell the hatred in their torches as they marched down. After that horrific violence that day, and Heather Heyer was killed, and we lost 2 state troopers that day, I begged the President of the United States on a telephone to do the right thing, to come out and condemn these folks and call them out for what they were. He refused to do that, President Trump, if you remember, and he called them fine people. So I did what the president should have done. I told these white supremacists and neo-Nazis to get the hell out of Virginia, leave our state, and don't you ever come back to Virginia. The people who marched on Charlottesville represent a very dark part of America. A group of people who actually believe in white supremacy. They believe in hate, and they believe in violence. Politicians have encouraged it. Even after that, and even after the January 6th insurrection, Glenn Youngkin said that Donald Trump represents so much of why he was running for governor. Folks, Virginia, we are so much better than the politics of hatred. And in the next 3 days, we are going to prove it. Let's get out, let's vote, and let's keep Virginia blue. Thank you very much.
Hallelujah. Girl, sit your hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Stop. Wait a minute. Fill my cup, put some nigga in it. Take a sip, sign the check. Julio, get the stretch. Right to Harlem, Hollywood, Jackson, Mississippi. If we show up, we gon' show out. Smoother than a fresh drop skipping. I'm too hot. Call the police and the firemen. I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Grammy Award-winning musician, producer, and philanthropist, Pharrell Williams.
Seven 5-7. How you guys doing? I'm here for one reason, and honestly, one reason only, and that is to talk to you guys and girls and fellow human beings, by the way, about the importance of voting. You know, just when we were pulling into the venue, you know, there was like a big group, I suspect, of like the opposing side. And they were yelling, and they were screaming. And no, this is okay, because you just never know what people's phones are telling them. But the thing that it made me think about is it's interesting to me when people choose a side, you know, they forget one thing that they actually really do agree on. We're Virginians. And to me, I think that's important. So when I talk to you about like the importance of voting, it's like you may feel the way you feel and you may vote whatever way you vote, but you're never going to have a conversation with someone who sees you as the opposition. another place of business. And there's no sublimes in what I'm saying. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You literally could be, and I don't want y'all to scoff at this, but you could literally be, you know, a son and a daughter of like the Confederacy. If you are a Virginian, you're a Virginian. But you got to keep that same energy with the LGBTQIA. And you gotta keep that same energy when you see a black person, or a person that is Chinese, or a person that is Native American, or just for our women, period, right? Because women come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. We have to keep that same energy. So I'm not here to tell you to vote for a person or vote for a party. I'm asking you to vote and be a part of the process of being a Virginian. So I love you guys and girls, and I love Virginia. And you know Virginia has a history. It has a history. It has a super heavy history. It's heavy. And if you are a minority or an African American, at least, or Native American, you walk around with that gravity every day. But however, I am still standing here as a Virginian. We love Portsmouth too. We love all the 757. Don't we, 757? So again, when you go home, if you haven't voted already, speak to your neighbor, no matter what color they are, no matter what color they're wearing. Speak to your fellow Virginian. That's how we show love to each other. And last but not least, I'm going to bring up the former governor and maybe the governor to be again, Terry McAuliffe.
All right, are we ready, ladies and gentlemen? Kids? I have the distinct honor of bringing onto the stage someone very special. I love this woman. I've known her for a very long time. She is a great fighter, and she has made history as the first woman vice president of the United States of America, the first African-American vice president of the United States of America. But she has not wasted a second. She and Joe Biden have gotten into office dealing with COVID because of the mess that Donald Trump left. She's worked hard. She's also understood how tough COVID has been on women. 5.4 million have lost their job during COVID. So she's leading the effort to get women back into the workforce. Lower child care, making sure that schools stay open. The president has given her so many tough challenges. But why we all need to love her is because the Biden-Harris administration has been so great to the Commonwealth of Virginia. We've received $14.3 billion, right, Governor? $14.3 billion in aid, which included $300 billion just for our education system. That's what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have done for us through the American Rescue Plan. So let us give a great, rousing Norfolk welcome to the Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
You're going to bring this home, right? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. There are so many incredible leaders who are here right now. The governor is here. Mark Herring, I worked with him. The attorney general is here. We're going to elect Hala Ayala to be the next lieutenant governor. We have got the Virginia House of Delegates. We're going to take that back, right? Virginia Beach and Norfolk. Bobby Scott is here. Elaine Luria is here. They're all here, and we're all here together. We are all here together. So listen, 4 days to go. Tomorrow is a very important day, and the days leading up to Tuesday are very important days, and Tuesday is a critical day that will determine whether we either turn back the clock or move it forward, having a vision and knowing what can be, unburdened by what has been, having the ability to have a governor of this beautiful Commonwealth of Virginia who understands the people, who has always been a fighter for the people, who has the experience to represent the people, who has the courage and the fight to fight for the people, all for the benefit of this beautiful state. And Virginia, I'm here because the President and I care deeply about Terry McAuliffe, about the Commonwealth of Virginia, and about the future of our nation. Now, you all know that every 4 years when this election happens for governor of Virginia, it's a tight election, it's a close election, and it is a bellwether for what happens in the rest of the country. You know, the last time I was standing with Terry, I saw a bunch of signs and they said, "Don't Texas, Virginia." Right? Let's not Texas, Virginia. Because you see, what happens in Virginia will in large part determine what happens in 2022, 2024, and on. And so I'm here to, yes, agree with everything you know that Pharrell talked about love of this state, everything that the former and future governor has talked about his experience and his vision. And I'm also here to talk about the fact that each one of you, in your possession, has the ability to determine, yes, who will be the next governor, but also by extension, given the importance of this Virginia election, how the country is going to move. And in that way, each of you has a power to impact the lives of people you may never meet, people who may never know your name, but because of what you do tomorrow and the next day and the next day and Tuesday, their lives will forever be impacted by what you do in this election. The power is in your hands. And elections matter. Elections matter. If Virginia hadn't turned out, if you hadn't did what you did in 2020, I wouldn't be standing here. Elections matter. Organizing matters. Talking to your neighbors matter. Texting, emailing, seeing a perfect stranger on the street, but in their face, like Pharrell talked about, in the face of a stranger, seeing a neighbor with an equal investment in the outcome of this race. It matters. So we have got to do everything in our power to reach out to everyone we see and know and remind them not only that this election matters, but that they matter, that we matter, that Virginia matters. And you know, if you want a reference point about how elections matter, yes, I would ask you, hopefully with a smile, to reflect on 2020, but I'll also ask you to reflect on what happened 4 years before. When a lot of us thought the right thing will happen, it'll be all right. And one of the lessons we learned among many, we can take nothing for granted ever. every time in our nation when we have experienced and seen progress, it was not because we sat back and assumed it would all be all right. It is because we stepped up, because we know that progress never comes without hard work and often a fight. So what's at stake in this election? Why are you asking us, Kamala, to do all of this? Well, who is governor matters. Who is governor matters. If you care about the rights of women to make decisions about their own bodies, who is governor matters. If you care about whether there's a governor who says, I respect the right of a woman in consultation with her family, her God, to make decisions about her own body, elections matter. Electing Terry McAuliffe will matter. If in the middle of a recovery from a pandemic, you believe that health care and health coverage matters, who is governor will matter. If you believe that concerning oneself with the condition and well-being of our members of our military matter, who is governor will matter. Just look at his record when he essentially ended veteran homelessness when he was governor before. Who is governor matters. When we are looking at whether we take seriously this beautiful earth we have been given and the seriousness of this climate crisis. Who is governor will matter in terms of saying we must prioritize these issues and not accept false choices. We care about jobs and we care about the climate. We need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We need to invest in renewable energies. We need governors who stand up, stand tall, stand strong on these issues that are unique in so many ways about this moment and why this moment matters. If you care how workers are doing and working people, and you understand that when 2 million women had to leave the workforce, a large part of it had to do with an inability to afford or have access to child care. Who is governor matters. When you understand how many workers are in what we call the sandwich generation, raising young children and caring for elderly relatives and parents. And whether you have a governor who stands up and says, let's invest in an approach like Build Back Better that says let's have at-home care and elder care and make it affordable and accessible. Who is governor matters. When you understand that whether you are a member of a labor union or not, you have labor to thank for the 5-day work week, for the weekends, for sick leave, for paid leave if you've got it, and that a governor matters on whether we will fight always to protect collective bargaining. Who is governor matters. This election matters. If you recognize that, yes, we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go on LGBTQ rights and passing the Equality Act, who is governor matters. These next 4 days matter. and the power is in your hands. And we've seen the power of the people. In fact, I will tell you, on the list of who is governor matters, if you believe that the right to vote and access to the polls matters, who is governor matters. When we talk about Don't Texas Virginia, that's one of the top things I have in mind. Choice, one of the top things I have in mind. Watch what's happening around this country. This is no joke. You think they don't think and aren't watching this around the country to think if we can take Virginia, we can do this a lot of other places? Don't let Virginia be an experiment. Who is governor matters on an essential issue like voting rights. And here in Virginia, Governor Northrup, the elected leaders of Virginia, you've done an extraordinary job. Virginia has become a model. On what it means to say that if we will maintain and strengthen our democracy, we will not make it more difficult for people to vote. We will make it easier for people to vote. And sometimes we don't realize how good we got it until it's taken away. Let's not learn that lesson, Virginia. Let's not learn that lesson. You know, every morning I read what's called the PDB, the Presidential Daily Briefing. Now let me tell you about the PDB. The PDB is a classified amount of information about threats to our nation's security and hotspots around the world. Now, I'm not going to talk about what I read every morning, but I'm going to tell you this, based on what I know. There is a real conversation happening around this world about the battle between democracies and autocracies. There's a real battle happening where people are watching what we are doing in our country and making a decision about whether that is, in fact, a role model of how you can be strong and be a democracy, or whether it doesn't work. That's happening around this world. I have had direct conversations with leaders from all over the world on this. I have had conversations where I had the Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, at the official residence of the Vice President, had her over for breakfast. And that was a topic she raised. What's going on, is essentially what she said. And I told her that we are strong in our beliefs, that though we may be tried and tested, that the American people will always stand for the pillars of our democracy. And we know, as imperfect as we are, as flawed as we may be, one of the strengths of who we are as a nation is we always fight for our ideals. We are a work in progress. There is no question about that. But we fight for our ideals. So when we're talking about an election that's 4 days away, well, really it's tomorrow, because I would prefer that you don't wait till Tuesday to vote. I would prefer you vote tomorrow and tell everybody you know to vote tomorrow. Nothing like saying, you want to meet me tomorrow? What you doing tomorrow? You got any plans tomorrow? Tomorrow's a good day. It's going to be a good day. But the point is, there is so much power in the hands of the people, including not only determining the outcome of this very, very important election, but making a statement about who we are as a nation. All of that is at stake. And I think moments like this should cause us to really look in a mirror and look in that mirror and say, I've got power. I've got power. Say, I've got power. The power is in my hands. I have the power to decide. I have the power to weigh in. I have the power to order what I want for my children and my family. And I will do that through my vote. And I will vote for Terry McAuliffe to be the next governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Thank you.